Welcome to another episode of a Media Firestorm case study where I get the honor and privilege of sharing the experience of one of our fantastic Media Firestorm clients. My name's Angel Tuccy. I'm the founder of the Need a Guest podcast community network. We have a network full of podcast hosts and guests, and we play matchmaker. Our Media Firestorm program is an incredible way to build traffic and leads for your business and monetize out of those podcasts. And today we have Brad. Brad, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
I'm doing pretty
Um,
well.
it's a beautiful day, and that always helps. It's been raining for a few days.
Oh, right. It's been raining. It's been raining here too. Where are you coming from?
I'm in Western North Carolina. We live on the edge of the worst hit county in Helene up
Mm.
here. So all the nightmare things that people haven't seen on TV and the news and all that, we're right in the middle of all that. So it's mind blowing what's going on up here. It's
Oh,
gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but it's mind blowing.
yeah, I saw some pictures and social posts and stuff in the news. Well, God bless you for getting through all of that. Brett, I want to talk a little bit about your business. I want to talk about, marketing, things that you were doing before you joined Media Firestorm. I want to talk about some of the results that you've seen since. But before that, just give our audience just a little background about you and your business.
Okay, I'm a veteran functional medicine doctor. I'm one of them people that got 100 hats. There's not much that I haven't done. I've been all over the world doing ministry, um, big construction background. There's not much that I don't do. So I primarily make money doing functional medicine. I've made it in construction trades and other things along that way. But I've got about 40 years of postgraduate education, functional medicine, research, clinical trials of my own. We run our clinic in a way that is so unique. I know some of the top docs in the world, and they have no idea what I do. Even though I've trained under them, I do what they do. They have no idea. Our results are so far beyond what most doctors can ever hope to give.
Why do you
Um,
think that is? Why do you have such amazing results? You've trained with all of these doctors. I know you have an extensive background, but what's so unique about you, Brad?
um, the way my mind works, actually, I'm a principle-based thinker, and I really like to know how things function. So when was in grad school, I just fascinated in functions of things. Physiology is one of those things. Almost every doctor of every profession, when they leave their school, they get rid of their physiology books and never look at them. I still study physiology on a regular basis, weekly, whenever something's not going, whenever I run into something new, I want to know how it works. And that's part of it. The other part is Lord got a hold of me in a huge way a long time ago, and my whole life is wrapped up around the kingdom of God. He talks to me, he shows me things. My wife is my partner, and he shows us things, and he gives us ways to test those. And when he was moving us to a different part of the country, people were begging us to figure out how to work with him at a distance. And I really didn't have a belief system for that, but it was obvious he was going to move us. And so it's like, okay, we got to figure this out. And started doing things. We started testing people further and farther away. And the end of our testing, we were testing people blindly. We didn't know what they were, who they were, what they had. We do pretty complete tests. My tests are insanely um, extensive. I'll
Hmm.
put it that way. Mark Hyman's a number one functional medicine doc in the world. His extensive testing is 100 tests. We're four and a half times that.
Wow. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Okay. So we are going to do a whole interview with you about your practice and what you do and the impact that you're making. But today, let's talk about marketing your company,
Okay.
and how you're getting the word out, how you're attracting clients, some things that you maybe were doing before you came to Media Firestorm. So, what were you doing for marketing? What was working for you before you joined Media Firestorm, Brad?
The thing that's always worked best for me is getting in front of people and talking to them.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different formats for that. in person is phenomenal and great. And it's really hard to build stages in other people's
Mm.
territories. And they do all kinds of things with that. So the webinar thing was a lot better a long time ago, and
Mhm.
that's really fallen off. It's really difficult to get people to come to those. Started doing podcasts a few years ago, and that's been a pretty big thing. We started our own podcast and trying to do things to bring that up into a functional state. And one of the best ways is to get on other podcasts, which I worked with several different groups on doing that. And everybody's got a little piece of a puzzle, but most of it's missing key things. And it's dysfunctional, like doing email blasts
Mm.
to a bunch of podcasts. I don't know, you might get 10% if you're pushing it.
Oh, I
You,
think I think Brad, yeah, spamming and doing cold email outreach for podcasts. The numbers we've seen are closer to 1%
yeah,
of
I was going to say
actually
that.
getting booked on.
Yeah, I was going to say that at first, but mine were more than that.
Mm.
Uh, but I mean, individual with a lot of unique qualities, and as you can tell, I'm not hard to talk to.
Mm.
And I've got such a deep well of wealth of information from years of studying multiple things that I can dovetail all that together and bring that. So,
Bring to it. So
um,
Brad, if you know you had tried, you've done different, you were doing podcasts, you were doing speaking, you've tried some different programs. What was it about Media Firestorm, if you did that made you say yes to try another group, another program? What say yes to us?
I'm working with somebody to help me bring my podcast up fairly quickly, and it's not working very well. And they had a thing where they're going to do pitches and try and get you on. It was totally dysfunctional, and it was pretty expensive side of what they're doing. And I thought, well, I'm going to do this on my own. And I was doing a lot better than what they're doing. My wife, actually, I might have sent a pitch to you because you're the one that reached out to me. I didn't know
Hmm,
you existed, and all of a sudden your emails are there. So it might have been just a chasing back of one of the pitches that I sent you.
okay.
I don't know how you got a hold of me, but I looked at it and I go, and I'm looking at what the group that I'm working with is offering, what you're offering. I go, well, you guys make a lot more sense because cost wise per whatever you're going to book is a whole bunch less and some more tools. And then you look at your things that you have in there. Everybody's got their little piece that works. And you had I forget who it is. Is it John Demas? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we don't have John Lee Dumas in our podcast directory, but we do have him in our network.
right. And I think it was one of his pitches that you guys put, and there's some keys in there. And you go, okay, that's good. And I tweaked what I was doing more of a blast, and I got a couple of responses from that were pretty good.
Yeah,
I go, okay,
let's talk about the results. How long have you been in enrolled in Media Firestorm?
It's not very long.
Not very long.
It might be like 2 weeks, something like that.
Is
It's
it? Oh my gosh, I was thinking it was a little longer, but okay. So tell me about the re like what have you learned? What have you implemented? And what results have you gotten?
um I started doing things more off John Lee Demas's his pitch, and it was more successful. But then you had Kristen Carey. She did a post on there of what she was doing. I look at that and go, this makes a whole bunch more sense. And I took what she did, I personalized it, I tweaked it, I changed it a whole bunch, started doing her approach, and well, I started getting on 1% shows.
On top shows. So how
And
many shows have you been on so far? How many shows have you booked?
wow, I've got 3 shows this week. There were at least 3 shows last week, at least 2 before. I got several up in the front. I've been on, yes, yeah, it was yesterday. I was on a TV show. We did another one that's probably going to go on TV later. I just booked another TV show. I think before I went to bed last night. I'm looking for bigger shows that have a bigger reach. And a thing that's really interesting is every show I've been on, from a small one to a big one, I've always been one of their favorite guests with some of the biggest downloads and the biggest reactions, simply because I've got a lot of content. I'm not arrogant like most docs are. I can be absolutely, totally rawly vulnerable, which docs don't ever do
Right.
that
Yeah, no, you're
at
very
all.
real and very easy to talk to, and you don't come across as, you do know it all, but you don't come across as knowing more than everybody. But I want to get back to, right, the media firestorm. Did you have any doubts about enrolling with us?
Well, there's always doubts for all kinds of different things. And I'm not an emotional buyer. I'm not an emotional decision maker. I just don't do that. So when something comes, I get what information I can and I literally lay it out before Lord, get on my face. And it's, what do you want me to do with something like this? It doesn't matter whether it makes sense or not necessarily. He's had me invest more in marketing in the first quarter of this year than I've ever done ever when there's not a whole bunch coming in just because sometimes it's time. We had to hide for a long time. And that reason that curtain is lifted and I'm able to go out and just poke my head up, it's like a periscope up out of the sea to see what's going on. And he's allowing me to do that in a different way. And he's finally starting to bless that in greater ways.
I love that. I love that. And so, yeah, you've never invested this much in marketing before, but feel like there's a calling to do that right now. How are you feeling now that you've been in the process? You've started to see some results. You've had a few shifts in your process. What does this mean for you going forward, Brad? How is this gonna open up doors or help you to hit the goals that you set for yourself?
The real issue is uh, I've shifted everything. Like I've got this extensive bio that can do all kinds of stuff, but most of the podcasters are women. Not all of them, but most of them. Most of them are fairly sensitive, want a dialogue and all that. So my bio shifted more to a personal, vulnerable issue rather than these credentials. And you got a big background in copywriting, and so I know how to tweak stuff quite a bit and really switch it up and play with a lot of things. And it's a lot of work to do this. There's no doubt. You can't shortcut it, but if you do the work, it's productive and it's encouraging enough to keep going to do it. I know myself, I'll put more than 100% effort into something, but if it doesn't produce something after a while, I'm fried.
Yeah, for sure.
And
All of
I'm
us, right? And I
yeah,
have seen you come in and you played full out. You're like, I'm going all in. I've committed to it and I've seen you. And that's also where results come, right? We're not going to get results just sitting on the sidelines. Brad, I want to make sure because you've shared some really incredible stuff about how you serve your clients, how different you are, how unique you are. Let's talk a little bit about next steps. If somebody wanted to connect with you, follow up with you, what would you what would you want them to do
okay.
next?
I set up a web page for everybody that I'm doing stuff. It's hello.healthfully.com, HELTHFULLY, the letter U.com. On that, I got a free ebook. It's called Healing Lifestyles, and it's the simple, practical, everyday things people can do to change their epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of your genes. Every gene has 30,000 potential ways to express itself. And the way that you live determines how that's going to express itself. So you can have a really negative gene like Down syndrome or the MTHFR gene. You can live life in a way where they don't express themselves. And even though the gene hasn't changed, you have no expression of it. So that book is phenomenal
Okay, how do we
tool
get that
to
again?
just,
What was the website? I didn't write it down.
it's hello
Hello.
dot healthfullyu, HEALTHFULLY, the letter U.com.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to pull that up, make sure I've got it. Hello dot healthfully you, the letter U dot com. Yes. Okay, I got it. All right.
Okay.
Fantastic.
On the thank you page, you get the download of that, and you get links to my website, our podcast, the book that I got, Exposing Lyme and Chronic Illness. I've got a ton of resources out there, and people go there, they put their email in, they're going to get a wealth of value.
Well,
It's
I
just
just
an
put my
absolute wealth of
email
value.
in for that. So I can't wait to learn more and to follow all the good stuff that you're sending people to. Brad, it's been incredible to watch you just to come in. You are on fire. You're seeing incredible results. You're getting on top shows every week, two or three shows, television shows consistently, and it's only gonna get better. Like this is the worst it's ever gonna be, right? Like as we begin and we're learning something new and it's only going to get even better from here. Are there if somebody was thinking about enrolling in Media Firestorm and they had a little bit of doubt or wasn't sure if this is the right next step for them, is there anything you would recommend or anything you'd want to say to them?
Yeah, it's the same thing you say to anybody considering anything. Not everybody's called to do the same thing, but for those things that people really want to get some fruit out of, some benefit, it's always going to take an investment. And that investment's way more than just time. It's energy. If you look at, we do a lot with fertility issues. You cannot help couples with fertility unless they want to do some things to change the reason why they're not fertile. If you really need to get in front of audiences, there's going to be work that you got to do. You can't shortcut that. But if you do, you're going to reap the rewards of that work. And it might not be right away, but you're going to build a case for things. You're going to get a ton of exposure, and that's just the bottom line reality. It's there's not a shortcut for the work, but when you have the tools to do it, it's fruitful and it's worthwhile doing it.
Oh, Brad, thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Now, follow Brad. Go and grab all of these incredible resources and share it with somebody you know that is dealing with some of these issues. Hello dot healthfullyu.com. And that U is the letter U. Hello dot healthfullyu.com. I'm Angel Tuccy. We run the Media Firestorm program. If you're looking to get booked on more podcasts more consistently and how to monetize those podcast interviews using short daily emails, connect with us. You can find us at needaguest.com, needaguest.com, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.